Welcome, everyone. I am Pitts from Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live from Bowie State University. We have an amazing show today. I'm not sure if you all heard or know, but next Monday on Bowie State's campus, they will be having their 2024 NIL Summit, where the students and teachers and faculty, athletic coaches, etc., will learn more about NILs, how to reach out for deals, to gain more knowledge. So the student athletes at the Division twos, at HBCUs, Division ones, can start to be monetized off their name, image, and likeness. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring on the rest of the panel. I'm going to first bring on Antoine. He is from Be Creative. They are the host of the 2024 NIL Summit. Antoine, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Terrence, how's it going?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you very much for joining us on Bowie TV on tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
And we thank you for allowing us to be your media partner for this event at Bowie State, May 6, 2024.
Awesome. I'm really excited to work with you guys.
Amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on the rest of our panel. We're going to bring on the coach, Powell, women's softball coach. How you doing, coach? You on mute, coach.
Thank you. I was just saying, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to a good conversation. Thank you.
All right. Coach tried to get away. He tried to leave his phone on mute, so we couldn't hear him. We know Coach loud. We hear him from the top of the track yelling on the softball field. All right, then next we're going to slide in Dr. Anderson. Literally. You see how smooth that slide was? Literally.
Hello.
Dr. Anderson, if you can tell them a little bit about yourself for those who may not know who you are.
So I am Dr. A.J. Anderson. I am the program coordinator and assistant professor here at Bowie State for sport management. I've been here now. This is my third year. I enjoy it. I love it. I get to work with a lot of our student athletes as well as our students that want to work in sports. So this has been great. I do have a background in working in sports for over 20 years. So it's a great opportunity for me to be able to learn as well as be able to give back to our students.
And before we start, I want to go ahead and play just a little brief snippet. This is from a previous NIL summit that Antoine and Be Creative held, I believe, at North Carolina.
Yes, North Carolina A&T.
Yes. So I'm going to play that first before we get into the details and the fun part of next Monday. All right. And as I said, we are here today to talk about the 2024 NIL Summit that will be hosted at Bowie State University on next Monday, May 6th. Antoine, how are you doing?
I am doing good. We are excited and can't wait to be on campus at Bowie next week.
Antoine, if you can, share a little bit about Be Creative and the HBCU Collective and what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will jump in and correct you a little bit. It's Be Collective, not Be Creative.
Oh, okay. I was saying Be Creative.
Yeah, no worries. But no, we are Be Collective Plus. We aim to be a premier service provider and community builder offers a unique opportunity for HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, to their student athletes, to their athletic departments, their staff and students alike that are looking to learn more about the NIL industry, the sports industry at large, and just be a resource for them. We've created the Inside the NIL Summit that we launched this year in 2024. Part of that clip that you had showed, we launched it with North Carolina A&T back in January. We've also been with at Norfolk State University, as well as doing a Nashville-wide event in conjunction with organization Relate to Athletes, so where we did NIL and mental health in collaboration at Lipscomb Academy. So we are really big proponents of just making sure that we get the right information out there as it relates to NIL, because there's a lot of confusion and misinformation. And we aim to be a resource for HBCUs at large, to be able to meet the students where they're at, help them understand directly, hearing from sports industry professionals who've been in the industry before NIL existed, industry professionals who have worked with athletes to all the way up to the professional level. And so what we're looking to do is just make sure that we can bring these resources to our HBCUs, so that they can stand a fighting chance as this NIL landscape evolves and changes college athletics.
Is Bowie State, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, so North Carolina's A&T, how many have you done? How many summits? I know you said it kicked off in 2024, I believe. The
Yes.
summit itself.
Yes.
Have you done any other universities other than North Carolina A&T?
Yes, Norfolk State University as well.
Okay, awesome. So Bowie gets the bill. What brought you to Bowie?
So I've got a personal connection with Bowie, actually. My younger brother went there his freshman year last year. And so I was back and forth. I stay out in Hyattsville, Maryland. So I made plenty of trips to campus, picking up for laundry, shopping trips, and things like that. I'm a Hampton grad myself, but I now have an appreciation for Bowie now that my brother has been there. And, you know, just always looking to support HBCUs at large. In my professional background, I've worked with some of the PWIs and professional teams, but as an HBCU grad coming from an HBCU family, there's just a love that I have to want to make sure that we also get the same resources and opportunities.
Absolutely. And I think it's amazing, especially when you talk about us receiving the same opportunities to monetize ourselves off the name, image, and likeness, especially when we're in such a dire, area when we talk about HBCUs and we talk about the opportunities or the less of opportunities that appear that HBCUs don't get afforded, in the next realm as far as a professional career. I did a video not too long ago just talking about the disparity in the whole draft this year, how there were 0 HBCU players drafted. And when you talk about name, image, and likeness, this is something that I think that they should have the ability and they should be rewarded for, because just like I said, then these coaches and these players, I feel, in my opinion, have to work harder than those of the P5s, because they don't fund us the same, right? So we have to go above and beyond just to get the recognition that they so earnestly deserve. But I'll bring in Coach Powell, who is the head coach of the women's softball team here. If you want to jump in, Coach Powell, what does bringing the NIL Summit to Bowie State and bringing that information to your players mean to you as a coach?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm glad to have the opportunity to introduce the NLIs to our players. I think it's a space and a place that that few have kind of tried to tackle and try to make it work for them. So I think it's a really good opportunity for especially our young ladies for the softball team. I mean, I think softball is a growing sport where a lot of eyes are starting to come and a lot of interest. I know the women's college basketball is really thriving right now with the NLIs, but I think softball is on the horizon with the young ladies and the athletes and how they present themselves, how they carry themselves, how they market themselves. I think this is a win-win situation for both parties.
Dr. Anderson, for you as a professor and over sports management, is this a curriculum or is this a topic that you have studied or your students that you've gone over?
Yeah, so with this being a new space, obviously NILs has been a hot topic for a while. Athletes want to be paid, so that's a big topic. So what we talk about in our sport management program is we want to talk about things that are relevant. So we want to obviously keep the interests of our students. So let's talk about that. And with athletes being able to get paid, so we do some education. We do some education on that now. I am not a NIL expert, so I defer to some, but we have some general conversations about it, and then I may bring in folks who are professionals about that. But having this summit here is another way that we can educate our students, especially our sport management students who want to work in this field, who want to, whether they want to be agents. I think this is a great way to start to get into this NIL space, and then they can continue to work and gain experience, and potentially if they want to be agents or however, whatever path they want to take, they can do.
And actually, I just thought about something, Antoine. If you can you, for those who may not be familiar, they know the acronym name, image, and likeness. If you can you give a brief understanding of what that means and how it attributes to athletes being able to monetize themselves for it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with one thing that most people are familiar with when you think name, image, and likeness. College football, the EA Sports video games that we used to play. I'm a 90s baby, so I grew up playing them as a teenager until they went away. And a large part of that is because of name, image, and likeness. So essentially for student athletes, your pictures, your jersey numbers that are very closely associated with things of your mannerisms, things like that, everything that surrounds your brand, that encompasses your brand, that makes you identifiable. And so, if you are a student athlete and someone, snaps a picture with you and you're wearing a brand's t-shirt or something like that, and they post that on their Instagram page because they know that you are a big time athlete. I'll use Bowie State, for example, right? So let's say, we've got a big time athlete here at Bowie State, and, somebody snaps, they're wearing a local t-shirt brand. They thought it was cool. They were wearing it. And that t-shirt company, they take a picture and they post that on their Instagram and they promote their t-shirt, right? And they're saying, look at, how, the people that are wearing our clothes, it's cool, it's fashionable, things like that. Well, that company is utilizing that student athlete's name, image, and likeness. In that particular case, they're utilizing their image and their likeness. It may not be specifically their name, but because it's that particular student in the shirt used in a way to promote a product. And so that's centered around what NIL is. It's anything that you do as an individual to promote a product or a service. And it's an opportunity that now college athletes are allowed to get paid for. Previously, they were not allowed to be compensated for any type of things of that nature. But now we're in a day and age where a college athlete can get compensated, and compensation doesn't just always mean money. Compensation can be product, compensation could be complimentary services, complimentary access. Maybe it's a free gym membership, maybe it's a gift cards to go to a restaurant, or it could be money and financial like we see. And so there are a lot of things surrounding name, image, like, but overall, it's essentially utilizing your brand to promote something else, a product, a service, or something of that nature.
If you can, and we know that when we talk about NILs and companies reaching out to a student athlete to represent their brand because of their following that they have, a lot of times it boils down to a lot of followings. Is that true? When you talk about NIL deals, how closely do companies look at the following of the players socially and connecting the dots to try to form some type of partnership?
It's a part of it. It's definitely a part of the equation. However, it is not the only part of the equation. There is a large disconnect that people believe that follower numbers mean like big NIL opportunities. But it's like a math equation. There's follower numbers, there's engagement rate, there are the amount of posts, there are the frequency of posts, there are things of that nature that all compile into a package, which would make you marketable to a brand, which would make a brand want to reach out to you. One of the common things that we see, especially with students of this generation, is that they post on their story a lot, but they do not post a static post on their page. So you could go to a page that might have 10,000 followers and one post, but that's not a marketable page because, like, if I'm a brand, I'm not going to pay you $5,000 to post something on your story that's going to disappear in 24 hours. That's not a good financial decision from a marketing partnership. And what students don't realize are there's everything in addition to followers. Like having followers is literally just a piece of the puzzle. But are you engaging your followers? Do you comment back when people comment on your post? Do you like other people's posts? Are you like engaging with those people? Do you have actual influence with that follower number that you have? And then are you posting? Are you using, like, are you utilizing your platform? Is your platform somewhere that your followers want to go, that they can get information or they can get put onto the newest things and trends? And these are why, you know, it's more than just follower numbers, because these are the things that brands are using to make a marketing decision for marketing dollars.
Okay, awesome. We talk about next Monday here at Bowie State, and if I'm correct, I believe the times is 9 to 6, I believe.
We start at 10:15.
Okay.
So registration will begin from 9 to 10, and then we will be kicking off between 10:15 and 10:30. And our sessions will go until 4, and then we will have our career fair in collaboration with the Black Sports Professionals DC, Maryland, Virginia chapter. The career fair will be from 4 to 6.
Okay. Coach Powell, with an event like this that's coming to Bowie State, is this something that you as a coach, are you kind of trying to, do you sway your players to be a part of this event?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've been talking, you know, since we got it, we got the invitation. Well, they got the invitation. We got the invitation. Because what he's saying is really in the wheelhouse of our student athletes, because they're in the day and time. So talking about, you know, posting them, you know, because they do all of those things, but I don't think they recognize the benefit that they can gain from kind of what they enjoy doing anyway, is being on their phones and making connections and talking through, you know, and reaching out, you know. So I think having more information for them is really crucial. So yes, I mean, in a lot of different ways, it's a way to connect. But for the young ladies that I'm involved with, it is definitely something that I'm pushing, trying to, you know, tell them and, you know, talk to them about, you know, the future.
Coach, with NIL as being such a hot topic, right, in the collegiate world, and sometimes even in high school, because I know in some states, not all, but in some states, some high school athletes are able to obtain NIL deals. And when you talk about universities and campuses, a lot of the times it seems like some athletes nowadays, depending on the star of the athlete, they look for those opportunities. With this being something being introduced to Bowie, does this give you, and not an advantage, but does this give you something that you can, for your incoming freshmen or for those who you go out with and say, listen, not only is it an opportunity for you to come and be a part of a winning team, a winning culture, a great organization, you also can open and be available for opportunities in regards to receiving or to monetizing off your name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be an addition for a recruiting tool. You know, but a lot of times we want to be careful because we don't want to, you know, my motto is under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So we want to be really careful about how, you know, how we market the NLI to the recruits. You know what I mean? You know, because a lot of times they hear what they want to hear. And
Yeah.
so we gotta be extremely, I mean, I have to be extremely careful when I'm talking about, you know, because what they hear is Deion Sanders and Shador Sanders, and you know that's what they hear. You know what I mean? They hear Caitlin Clark. They hear, you know, that's what they hear. But in all honesty, that's not what's going to happen.
Right.
So, you know, but I definitely think it's something that, you know, once one of our players gets a foothold into it, I can specifically talk about that particular player to say, this is how it worked for such and such. You know, I'm not saying it can work for you, but these are the opportunities that could be and will be available to you.
Dr. Anderson, for your students in your classes, is this something that when you talk about it being on campus, is this something that you think that in regards to gaining attraction from them or the implementation or presenting it to them, is this something that they may have an interest in being a part of, even though they're not student athletes? Because as you said, you don't have to be an athlete. You can go on a path to being an agent, etc. How does that play a path within your course of sports management?
So yeah, so once again, like I want to be relevant in what we do, what we teach. So being able to, so we have a sport marketing and promotions class, and we have one of our professors has been in PR for 30 plus years. He's worked at the professional level, so he's been a major asset for us in our program. But this is something that we want our students to be able to get involved. And I mentioned before, is if you want to be an agent, that's an avenue that you can take, is start looking at this marketing, because it's what you're doing. You're marketing and promoting athletes, and we do have some athletes in our classes, so it's definitely intriguing to them. But there are, just like Antoine mentioned before, like there are whether some misconceptions or where you want to be able to educate our students as much as possible. So everybody's not going out and getting these $1 million deals.
Right.
I think that it's something with our students. I've met with some students here, and we are looking to just be able to go out to some local businesses and find a way that we can bring it back to campus. And hopefully if we can help market some of our own athletes and our programs and different things like that, that's huge.
So next Monday, right, 10:15, registration starts at 9 a.m., Antoine?
Yes.
And from what I've seen, that spaces are filling up, but I do believe there's still some space available.
Yes, that is correct. Spaces are filling up, but we do have some tickets still available.
And I just wanted to go over something that you had sent me in regards to your impact data, right? And you said for the impact data, 35% of brands now invest exclusively in NIL athletes. The balanced distribution of NIL deals between male and female athletes present diverse branding opportunities. The summit coincides with a significant shift towards collegiate sports scholars sponsorships. If you can, because as we're closing out, if you can just give a taste of what they can expect to see and experience on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Monday, students and attendees can expect to hear gems from industry professionals, professionals who have worked all the way up to the pros, work directly as professional sports agents, industry professionals who specialize in NIL education. You'll be able to learn tips. We'll talk about financial literacy. We'll talk about taxes. We'll talk about contracts. We'll also be talking about the nitty gritty of the NIL, how all money isn't good money. We'll be talking about how some of these opportunities that come to you are stepping stone opportunities that can propel you for larger opportunities. We'll talk to you about how there are different forms of compensation. One of the biggest shock factors that people are surprised to find out from our summits are that the female student athletes are actually significantly have a much larger opportunity just because they are more engaging on social media. We go into some of that nitty gritty and what that looks like and how athletes can position themselves. Coach Powell made a great example as far as a lot of these student athletes, they hear Shador Sanders, they hear Caitlin Clark, they hear Angel Reese, and they just, that's where their brain goes to first. But we're going to talk about how you have opportunities that exist right there on the campus of Bowie. There's a videographer down the hall from you. There's a photographer across the way. Y'all should get together. Y'all should create opportunities for yourself. These are some of those types of things that we'll be talking about on Monday, and we really hope that our students are able to come and take full advantage.
Bowie State University students, student athletes, I am calling that you guys take advantage of this opportunity. It is an amazing opportunity, regardless if it's your freshman year or if you're a senior. Come out, get the knowledge, soak it all in, ask questions. We will do question and answers. We will do interviews just to see how you're taking in and how you're enjoying and what are your thoughts in regards to next Monday. I'm excited. I know the university is excited. I know, Be Collectives. I know everybody's excited, right? But we need you guys to come out to receive the information that is going to be provided to you on next Monday. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Bowie TV, thanks you guys for allowing us to be your media partner. We thank Bowie State for all the access that they've given us. I thank Coach Powell, as always, for everything that he has done and his friendship and mentorship. Wish you well this weekend. I believe there's softball playoffs. Tournament start up this weekend, so wish you well. But then I'll see you again on Monday. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Is there anything that anyone wants to say before we sign off? Antoine, is there anything that you want to say that we may have not got to?
No, I think we covered everything. I'll just echo your sentiments. We are really excited on our end at Be Collective to be working with Bowie State. Really hope we can get as many of the students to come out. We've got some great speakers lined up, a couple of surprises in our bag that we didn't mention today. So definitely want to make sure that, we can support those student athletes and students alike at Bowie.
Dr. Anderson?
Oh, I've been pushing my students to attend this. All of them, not even ones that just want to be sport agents. This is something that is very beneficial to all of our students. So I've been pushing them, and hopefully we'll get a good turnout from my students.
Coach Powell?
Yep, I'm just looking forward to the long-term effect of how this summit can expand and really grow and see where it goes from its inception, from the inception until the year's coming. So looking forward to it.
All right, be collective, be energized, be ready. Let's go. May 6th, Bowie State University, 2024 NIL Summit. See you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep, let's go Bulldogs.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Bowie.
Hey, Bowie.